Mizuno, a running shoe brand that I used to associate mainly with stiff shoes like the Wave Riders or Wave Inspire. Last year something changed with the release of Mizuno Neo Vista, but unfortunately I didn't have the chance to test them. However, my curiosity was piqued, so when Mizuno introduced a lighter version of the Neo Vista at the beginning of this year, I knew it was the perfect time to satisfy my curiosity, introducing the Mizuno Neo Zen. Hi, I'm Michał, an amateur runner deeply into running shoes. On this channel I review gear, shoes and discuss various running related topics, so if that interests you, feel free to subscribe and comment, it really helps reach new people. Thanks! And before I share my running impressions with the Mizuno Neo Zen, I must emphasize that I purchased these shoes myself and no one had any influence on my opinions or saw this material before you. I am also not affiliated with any store or running shoe brand. Time for some technical details. The upper is sock-like, made entirely of highly breathable and rough textured material. Not the best choice for winter as it provides almost no warmth. Large Mizuno logos on the sides offer minimal structural support. Overall, the upper is soft and allows the foot to move naturally. The heel counter is slightly reinforced but remains very soft. There is no padding inside, but there is a high piece of material extending over the Achilles and a pull tab to help with putting the shoe on. I can see potential for blisters in some runners, though I personally had no issues. The lacing system is standard for this type of upper. There is no tongue, which turned out to be a problem for me. The laces go through holes in the upper with no separation between them and the foot. In my case, this caused abrasions around the two highest eyelets. I ended up covering the area with a bandage for the next runs, which seems to solve the issue, but it shouldn't be necessary. There's also a rubber element in the middle of the shoe under the laces. I have no idea what it's for, maybe to prevent excessive lace pressure on the foot? I don't know. The midsole is undoubtedly the biggest win for this model. The Mizuno NXT foam is incredibly soft, even softer than before. These are probably the softest shoes I've ever had, yet they are responsive enough for faster running. What kind of sorcery is this? There's 40mm of foam under the heel and 34mm under the forefoot, giving a 6mm drop. The midsole geometry promotes forward motion and helps with smooth transitions. It works really well. The outsole features X10 rubber on the sides with the cutout in the middle similar to the Mizuno Neo Vista, but filled with foam instead of a plate. The grip of the Neo Zen is fantastic in various conditions, but I have concerns about durability. After around 100 kilometers, I already see some signs of wear. Let's check the weight. In a reference size, it's 235 grams for men's and 200 grams for women's models. My pair in size 44.5 EU or 11 US weighs 263 grams. Great results for a daily trainer, and you can definitely feel the lightness while running. Speaking of sizing, I found it a bit tricky. I usually buy running shoes in size 45, US 11, but for this Mizuno I had to go half size down in European sizing, while the US size remained the same. Time for my running impressions. Let's start with the positives, and there are plenty. Ultra soft midsole. I know I often mention that I like soft shoes, but Mizuno took it to the extreme here. Despite the softness, the foam is also very responsive, so you can pick up the pace. Yes, it's soft. Your foot sinks into the foam, but it rebounds quickly, giving a dynamic feel. Another noteworthy aspect is ground feel. Despite the thick foam, the landing compression allows for a surprising amount of contact sensation. Normally I'm not a fan of this, but in this case it felt really enjoyable. Mizuno Neo Zen is a very versatile shoe. On long, easy runs, the softness and comfort stand out, while on faster efforts the responsiveness comes into play. The snug upper also helps maintain rhythm. The outsole provides excellent traction. I tested them in various conditions and had no complaints, which is impressive given the relatively simple tread pattern. Another plus, the aesthetics. Initially I was skeptical about the looks, but once I put them on and saw them from above, I actually wanted to show them off. They attract attention, and it's curiosity rather than disapproval. Finally, price to quality ratio. It's not as unbeatable as in the Adidas Evo SL, but it's still quite strong. For just €150, you get an excellent, versatile daily trainer ready for more demanding runs. But what didn't I like? The sock-like upper may work for some, not for others, and after my first run I had a bloody abrasion where the last lace hole is. Since there's no tongue to act as buffer, the lace rubbed directly against my foot, and on later runs I covered the area with a bandage, so had no further issues, but this shouldn't be necessary. The second downside is stability. With minimal reinforcement in the upper, don't expect great support. If you need stability, this might not be the best choice. If you still want to try a Mizuno model, the Neo Vista is a better option since it includes a plastic plate for extra support. Let's build a Mizuno running shoe rotation. Fortunately, in recent years, the Japanese brand has diversified its lineup, so we have some options. Starting with the Neo Zen, it's a daily trainer, plain and simple. For faster workout, I'd skip the Neo series and go for the Rebellion line, which is better suited for speed. My pick for tempo runs would be the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Flash 2. A dynamic shoe that also prepares you for Mizuno's race models. For long runs, I'd go back to the Neo series with the Mizuno Neo Vista. It's essentially a Neo Zen with a plastic plate and more foam, making it fantastic for extended efforts. For racing, there's only one choice, Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 3. Definitely a shoe for midfoot strikers as its geometry strongly encourages that style of running. Now let's streamline this rotation. For a 3-shoe lineup, I'd drop the Rebellion Flash 2. The Neo Zen can handle some faster runs, so that wouldn't be a major loss. For a 2-shoe rotation, it depends on your training goals. If you're preparing for a marathon, I'd drop the Neo Zen. If you're training for a half marathon or shorter, I'd drop the Neo Vista. They are quite similar, but the Vista excels in long runs, while the Zen is better for speed. And for 1-shoe setup, we cut the racing shoe and pick either the Neo Zen or Neo Vista, depending on the factors above. You can get the Mizuno Neo Zen for around €150. A great deal, but are there alternatives? I see two. First, the previously mentioned Adidas Evo SL, a bit firmer but just as versatile and even more fun to run in. It costs the same, but it's harder to buy in Europe at the moment. Second, the ASICS Nova Blast 5, soft, not as much as the Neo Zen, but with a similar feel. It's slightly worse for speed, but offers more comfortable upper. It's priced also at €150. Mizuno Neo Zen was a big surprise for me. I didn't expect such a great shoe, but Mizuno really stepped up in the daily trainer category. The timing might be unfortunate with the Adidas Evo SL dominating social media, but the Neo Zen deserves attention. While the sock-like upper isn't for everyone, the softness and overall running experience make it a shoe worth considering. I'd love to see a version with a traditional upper since the midsole is the best feature here. However, knowing Mizuno, I don't expect them to change course. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. I'd also love to hear your thoughts. Also, check out my Instagram and TikTok. All links are in the description. See you in the next video.